Welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here. And I've got something out of the gate that I think you'll probably enjoy. Um, it's somewhat near and dear to your heart, because I know we've talked about how much you love HOAs,
Yep.
and how incredible they are all the time.
Yep.
So trying to fix my fucking computer screen here. I feel like I'm still not in the center, but I don't know why it's bothering me. But anyway, um, so a homeowners association, otherwise known as an HOA, in Colorado, made the news the other day because they called the local sheriff's office earlier this month on some illegal activity that was going on in their uh what'd you call it? A domain? The HOA domain. Is that appropriate? I don't know. Um, but
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, the association territory. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I guess the
The
property,
property?
right?
Yeah, yeah, I guess suppose. Just keep it simple, stupid. Um, so the HOA called the sheriff's office because of some illegal activity. And that illegal activity was a group of children that set up a lemonade stand.
Oh, you need a
So
perm. You need a permit for that.
yeah, yeah. So the incident, described in the Summit County Sheriff's Office, says, or their community police bulletin for the week of July 15th tells the tale of the gritty citrus-based street crime as follows. Authorities say that HOA members first summoned police due to reports of, quote, children running an illegal lemonade stand on county right of way. When the sheriff's deputies arrived, they found that the children were not blocking the roadway, but did ask them to move back from the road a few feet for their own safety. Thinking the matter was resolved, the officers then moved on to other calls about parking issues in the area, only to head back to the original scene of the lemonade stand when the quote original reporting parties came out and began yelling at the children, claiming they were on private property. As the refreshment row reached fever pitch, yeah, this is great journalism here. This is the kind of shit I can get behind. Uh, the officers discovered that the children running the stand themselves lived within the HOA and that the lemonade pushers, quote, had a right to be there on the association's communally held property, leaving the wayward youths to continue their street war against scurvy. This is fantastic writing. Amazingly, this is not the first time a children's lemonade stand has been the concern of Colorado government. In 2018, Denver PD shut down a lemonade stand being run by three boys near an art festival across the street from their house. They plan to donate the proceeds to their church. Um, we
Oh,
don't
see,
go,
religion, that's bad. They should
yeah,
have said that they
yeah.
wanted to donate it to like the migrants or something.
We don't go out of our way to enforce matters of this nature, and in this instance, our actions were complaint driven. The Denver PD said in a Facebook post, when officers receive a complaint, we have an obligation to act. Right, so they go on. They go. I was very surprised and shocked that all this was necessary for a lemonade stand. Uh, said the mother of one of the children. Um, the story inspired Governor Jared Polis to sign a law the following year. Oh, this is talking about the original Denver thing. So the original, like the one from 2018, that story inspired Governor Jared Polis to sign a law the following year, meaning 2019, allowing children to run lemonade stands and other occasional businesses without a license. So the governor went out of his way to be like, yeah, we need to stop fucking with little kids that want to make lemonade stands. Um,
Hey, it's not that hard to. Hey, it's really not that hard to get a law, is it?
Yeah, no. So this is from the governor. The governor tweeted at the time, quote, thrilled to sign the bipartisan lemonade stand bill today that reduces regulations and cuts red tape, making it easier for young entrepreneurs to start their own businesses.
I feel like this whole. Are you sure this isn't on like the Babylon Bee or
No,
fucking The
this is
Onion?
legit. This is legit. Um, so while lemonades in Colorado may be legal, it seems young lemonade tenders still need to keep a sharp eye on their surroundings. You never know what the neighbors are going to think. So that's the article. Um, story. This is a rare time. I'm gonna give a shout out to the author of an article, but the author is Josh Marcus, from The Independent. I think The Independent is like a British publication, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but regardless, yeah, I think it's a UK newspaper.
Oh yeah, because the reporter in Ted Lasso is with The Independent,
Yeah,
which you haven't seen.
I have not. So yeah, so somehow the a reporter from the UK publication, The Independent, named Josh Marcus. Again, shout out to this guy. Fantastic writing of this article. But bottom line being, um, fuck HOAs, right? Like I think
Yeah, dude. I
HOAs are
mean,
just
this is so that is just the most glaring example of all of it, right? Now, a lot of times HOAs get a bad rap because people like to do stupid shit
yeah,
and the handbooks or the rules and regulation, the bylaws, whatever, like they're too long so people don't read them. And then it's like, well, someone knows what they are. So no, you can't like leave your car running in front of your house because you just fucking want to. Like,
yeah,
park your fucking car in a parking spot. That easy. Oh, I can't believe the HOA fined me for running my car. It's like, well, you weren't supposed to be doing that.
right.
And it's a couple things. It's a little bit of enjoyment or like, because if you're in a community like that, like quiet enjoyment is like a thing. Like people don't want to be bothered when they join an HOA and they're paying whatever per month. Uh, but then there's this other stuff like we noticed that your doormat did not follow the regulations. Like
Yeah.
the fucking doormat. You
The
serious?
doormat, huh?
It's like, oh, well, I was walking the neighborhood and I saw through your window that you had something up on the. It's like you saw through my window. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Um, and then you have like my spot who no one does anything.
It's either a
So
two involved or a not involved at all.
yeah, and I mean, like, so the place I lived at in Easton, next to the old gym.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't own those, so I guess it's a little different. Like, I didn't own, so it's like I never heard anything. So I don't know. It's weird because it's like most of the time the truth lies somewhere in the middle. This is not one of those times. Like some old people literally got pissed off about a lemonade stand.
Yeah.
And it's like those are the types of people that need to go live in a 55 plus HOA.
Right.
Because if the children are residents, then you're in the wrong place if you're going to bitch about stuff like that.
Yeah, I
It's
think
a fucking lemonade stand.
that's the like that's the big part of the story for me, right? It's like it's one thing if it was just happened to be like on the corner of a busy intersection that like that's where the property of this HOA, right? So I'm trying to think of like where you guys are now, right? Like that set of lights. Like if someone set up on the corner where your stuff is, I don't know if you guys, if that HOA technically owns that land or not, but regardless, right? If it was something like that and that's the spot that they decided to set up on, yeah, okay, you're just being crotchety old fucking losers, right? But these kids actually live in the HOA, so they have every right to be on that private property, right? So, like your claim of, well, it's private property, they can't do that. Well, guess who has a right? Who's entitled
Yeah.
to said private property? Is those children because they live there.
I can't believe they're operating without a business license, though.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Governor Polis in 2019, they don't need one. But also like just a quick, I know we're very quick, obviously, right? We're the number one most, not the most critical, but we're pretty critical of politicians, right? I think it's pretty obvious where we stand. But shout out to Governor Polis for being in that situation, or like having that story make news in 2018. So as the governor of the state, he was like, yeah, fuck this. He goes, we're going to remove all the loopholes that you can try and tag children on a lemonade stand. So he's like, yeah, if you have a temporary lemonade stand or a temporary business, guess what? You don't need a permit for it anymore. Like that, that's what politicians should do. Right? Not,
There's some important stuff from time to time too.
yeah.
No, but like if you break it down, it's like I've identified a problem and I've created a solution. That's really what they're supposed to do.
Right. That's what their job is. And also, I know this is different too because it's on the state level. And I mean, I think I'm more of a fan of state level politics and states' rights and things like that anyway. But the like having the ability to just do that, right, is just easier, right? Because it's just a governor of a state. So he's just like, yeah, I'll just fucking do this real quick. But also, that was my point. I got distracted. Was not trying to make like a massive like package, right? Like if you have one thing that you're trying to accomplish, you write a bill that has to do that one thing, and that's what gets passed, right? So I know like on the federal level, a lot of times what they do is they have what they call like an omnibus deal, where like, and they name it something stupid. They'll call it like the Freedom Act, right? And it's like, well, how are you going to vote against the Freedom Act? But then like you go and you read it, and it's like, you know, uh, protects politicians from trading stocks, and raises taxes on anyone that makes over $100,000 a year, and does all this other random shit. But oh, what they're going to tell you though is it creates more freedom and it protects your First Amendment rights, right? That's why we called it the Freedom Act. And it's like, yeah, but it's a 10,000 page document or whatever it is, a 1,200 page document. I don't know how big they get. 12,000 pages seems absurd. Maybe
A lot,
1,200.
of
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah. Maybe it's a 1,200 page, omnibus bill. And it's like, all right, well, what's in there? Clearly it's more than just one thing. If it's 1,200 pages, right? Or 700 pages or all these things, like, no. If you have one thing that you're trying to pass, you write a bill that addresses that one single thing, then you vote on it and then you pass it. You don't sit there, because this is how they play politics, right? Is they might put in this bill, oh, we're going to include government regulation to lower gas prices, right? Which we don't need to get into the politics of that and why I think that's dumb, but let's just say that's one of the things that was in there, right? So the government is going to get involved and put a cap on gas prices. Okay. But then somewhere else in the bill, it says that, everyone in Congress gets a 12% raise in 2030. Right. So like people are like, oh, no. We shouldn't vote for that. Like we don't need a 12% raise in 2030. I'm not going to vote for that. And then in public, they're like, oh, he voted against the bill that would put a price cap on gas. So what a terrible human. It's like, no, this is a 750-page document. Like the gas price thing took up half a page. You had 749 and a half other pages in there of shit that like people didn't like. Right. So like that's the way they played the game, right? And they do stupid politics stuff. Um, but yeah, that's a long way of saying good job by the governor of Colorado for passing a bill addressing a single issue. And wouldn't you know, it passed like, I don't know if it was unanimous, but it passed overwhelmingly.
I'd get behind that if someone was like, you know what? Well, I'm going to introduce a bill where bills can only be one topic.
That would be a fun bill.
I would enjoy that bill.
Yeah. Well,
It would
the
never
big
happen
thing,
though. They would never vote. Well, they would
no,
never vote on that because then you can't sneak in your pay raises, your
right,
biases or conflicts of interest. Like you can't sneak that stuff in.
right, right. Well, that's why, like half the time too, like these people in Congress don't even read the bill. Like they have their team. right? Like they have their team of fucking interns read it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, tell me what's in it. Just give me the
Would
cliff
you read the
notes."
bill?
No, absolutely not.
I wouldn't read the bill.
I wouldn't read it. I would do exactly that. I would tell my interns to read it, and they'd be like, "All right, give me the cliff notes."
Yeah, I would never read. No way. Like,
But
who
then,
wrote this
like,
fucking thing?
the issue is you're relying on, the readers to give you the information.
It's an 800-page bill, dude. Let's be fucking serious here. And actually, I don't know how many pages. More than 10, and I'm probably not reading the fucking thing. No, because if it's more than 10, then you know that they're rambling on about
Right.
other
And it's
shit.
it's definitely written in like legalese, right? It's not like
Yeah.
straightforward. Dude, 800 pages of legal writing. I think I would rather fucking gouge my eyes out with a spoon, like a dull spoon.
I would just vote against any bill.
Yeah.
Like, that would be my platform, is I'm going to vote against any bill that's more than 10 pages long.
Yeah. That would actually probably get you elected. But
Wouldn't do
so,
anything, but
well, yeah, yeah. Because one of the things that Dan Holloway has been on recently, or I mean for a little bit now, but more recently, is he keeps saying that laws should be clear, concise, and enforceable, right? And it's like, yeah, man, I mean that makes a lot of sense. It should be pretty clear, concise, and enforceable, right? Like if you make things like too much gray area, then it's like, all right, well, what are we doing?
well, you know why that'll never happen.
Well, yeah, because then they can't exploit things and find loopholes.
Plus, the lawyers, the judges, the courts, all of those people now lose work.
Right, right. So yeah, moral of the story is HOA suck.
Yeah.
um oh, so there was this other thing um that I saw on Roca when I was reading it the other day. Let me pull it up. So Ford, uh no shout out to them. Ford is probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a little bit of a stock dip. But they just announced that they're trying to patent a camera system that would be on their vehicles, right? And it would be mounted to report the speed of surrounding vehicles and send that information to local law enforcement. So Ford is trying to narc like hard on everyone. So they filed a patent titled Systems and Methods for Detecting Speeding Violations. The system uses onboard cameras to capture images of nearby vehicles traveling over the posted speed limit. The equipped vehicle can then send a report with speed data, pictures, and GPS location directly to law enforcement or roadside monitoring units. Ford believes these surveillance vehicles would ease law enforcement's job by eliminating the need for quick identification and pursuits. However, the legal argument for implementing this technology remains unclear. Here we go with gray area, since officers wouldn't witness the alleged speeding violation themselves.
So they say no one likes a tattletale.
Yeah.
Also, this is like some Big Brother shit that I don't like as
Yeah.
well.
This is big time Big Brother shit. You're just going to drive a car around that checks the speed and takes pictures of all the other cars around you. But
Yeah,
also, what
let's.
happens if the person in the car is speeding,
Yeah,
right? Like if the speed limit in the highway is 65, what if they're doing 72? Like, is the car just going to say, like, hey, pull me over? Right? Like, how does that work?
yeah. That's so. The other thing. So let's. I have a lot of problems with this. Obviously, one, it's stupid. I would love to know which retard came up with this.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, the police. departments. Like I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is like a gathering of police? Like the police departments are not gonna take this on. They're not gonna say every 4 seconds getting a alert from some fucking random car
Right.
that someone was fucking speeding. Because by the time they get on scene, like there's you can't do anything. Like you can't do anything about that.
Right.
Because last I checked, if someone's speeding, if it's not by like police camera, which can you even because I know Virginia used to do like monitored by like air, but they got rid of that because I think it was unconstitutional.
Yeah. I
I think the
think we
signs are
talked
still
about
up.
that.
We did talk about that. And I know there are cameras at stop signs because that one's black and gray, right? Like you ran the stop sign or you didn't. Oh, I'm sorry, lights. Like you
Right.
ran the stoplight or you did
Right.
not run the stoplight.
Right.
So they can take pictures of that and send you a ticket for that. But I think speeding violations, you still have to do it the old fashioned way.
Yeah. I think Maryland
Maryland for
has,
sure does. They had it in 1999 when I went there.
they
Like,
had cameras on the highway.
or they had cameras at the red lights.
Yeah.
Um, which that goes back 25 fucking years at least.
Yeah. I
But yeah,
mean,
I don't.
Pawtucket, Rhode Island has them. Like
Well,
if
so
you
hold on,
go
but remember
1A,
they've got the signs up.
right.
I've never received a ticket driving 1A in Pawtucket, so I don't know if they actually can issue a ticket like
Oh, so
that.
they turned them off. They turned them off because they calibrated them almost too good to the actual speed limit. So if it's like 35, if someone was doing 36, they got mailed a ticket. So it was all
Oh
automated.
God.
So when the system first went in, it was 35 is the speed limit. And that was like whatever they set the algorithm or the computer or whatever. So like they were writing too many tickets. So they had to turn the system off and like recalibrate everything and figure it out.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know if many of these like automated monitoring systems like work in the long haul.
Yeah. I think they made it a buffer now because I think it might be, I think they might give you 7 miles an hour, right? So if it's 35, a posted 35, you don't get popped unless you're doing 43. Like you're graced up until 42.
Okay. Um, but regardless of that, those are set up by local law enforcement,
Right.
not by fucking Ford
Yeah.
and not from a moving car.
Right. Yeah. Not a private organization.
Yeah, local PD is not going to take all these fucking calls on that.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is it'll alert local law enforcement. They don't want to be alerted.
Yeah.
It's either automated or they'll do it.
Yeah. Can you imagine that if you're driving on the highway, right? And there's a Ford, there's a narc Ford, right? A Ford narc 150. Um, and there's traffic, right? There could be 8, 15, 20 cars, right? Like just all around you, passing, going, doing whatever. Like, are you going to send 20 pings to the state police in that area? Just be like, hey, we just got hits on 20 cars. Like, okay, well, we only have 6 patrol cars out right now. So, I mean, we're not going to pull over all 20.
Well, and then the other thing is,
And of those 6 patrol cars, if it's a section of, if it's the, what is the Middleborough barracks, it's like they could be as far down as the Bourne Bridge or all the way to exit 16 in Franklin. Like that's their whole stretch, right? Because our buddy was in that barracks and that was his territory.
yeah, and again, it's like I don't know the whole. I mean, the system sucks, and it's a bad idea
Yeah.
because it's completely unrealistic. You can't just like alert local PD every time someone does something like because like the way I'm interpreting this is so if I'm driving my fucking Ford and someone passes me driving like 80, And it's like, oh, well, we have a Nissan Altima driving 80. By the time the cop shows up, that Altima could be fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
They could be off the highway, on the highway. They could be parked in a store, like anything.
Right.
So, like, what is this system? I would love to know what this system is intended to do
Yeah. Besides snitch on everyone.
for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, already everyone calls your car fucking found on road dead. And now you want could you be any more of a fucking dork?
Yeah. Yeah. People used to say built Ford wrong because they used to just break down all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the advantage of this is. Like, why would Ford want to do this?
I have no
Why don't they
idea.
just keep making Explorers and F-150s and then selling the bigger trucks to like commercial
Yeah.
companies?
Yeah. Cause even like I know Ford obviously has the relationship with law enforcement dating back to the Crown Vic, which isn't a thing anymore. But now that's the Explorer, right? Like I think the Ford Explorer is probably the top cop car, at least around here for state police. They all have Explorers, but I don't know what I think the
I don't know what the
municipal,
sedan is.
yeah, the municipal departments they're probably all different. Like I think some of them have like Chevy Malibus or Monte Carlos or something like that.
They probably don't have Monties anymore.
Yeah.
Definitely Malibu was a thing. But then something must have changed where you started to see like a lot of Chargers.
Yeah.
So Dodge must have got in there somehow.
Right.
I'm also just like not super familiar with all the different body styles these days. So it's like
Yeah. I feel like
there
they're
could
all
be a
different.
Ford sedan
Yeah. It
that
could
they
be a
use.
Focus, right? Or a Fusion, right? Do they even still make the Fusion?
I don't even know.
It's not a Focus, though. Definitely not a
It's not
Focus.
because like the car still needs to
The
like
Taurus,
eventually.
they brought the Taurus back for a while, but they brought it back as like a regular car, not a fucking boat. Not like the old Plymouth, right? Like the original Ford Taurus was like a Plymouth or like an Oldsmobile. Those things were massive.
Uh, Ford Police Interceptor. That's an Explorer. Or looks like an Explorer.
Yeah. You know what I will say though is I've noticed more and more because I do a lot of driving. I think it's the state police, um, but they have random cars. Like I've seen like a Nissan Altima, like on the side of the road with the blue strobes on, like got someone pulled over or something, or like assisting on a road stop. Like I've seen some like goofy ass makes and models. So I think the state police kind of just basically do whatever they want. Like the unmarked cars could just be anything.
Yeah, actually, so it looks like for Ford, their special service vehicles are an F-150 and a says it's an Expedition. I don't think they're that big. I think it's mostly Explorers.
Yeah.
So they might not even be doing a sedan anymore. And
Yeah.
maybe that's why Dodge. Well, because if you think like I don't even know what the Ford lineup of cars is anymore, but like they don't have a car that a cop can feel comfortable trying to I'm sorry, a
Yeah.
sedan
Right.
that a cop can feel comfortable trying to run somebody down in.
Right.
Like even if it was like whatever's bigger, the Ford Focus or the Fusion, whatever, it's like you're shitting me, right?
Yeah.
That thing is going to be fucking shaking by the time it hits 90.
It's like my old Saturn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. But
Fuck Ford.
Yeah, they have the number one
Pussies.
selling truck. The F-150 year after year is still the number one selling truck in the country
Yeah.
somehow.
I mean, dude, their trucks are good.
Yeah,
And commercially, people use them.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have no real input on that one. But like, even like the 250s, 350s, the extended cabs, whatever, it's like those are super popular for business purposes.
Right, right. So yeah, because then too, like, so I was gonna say if they put them on police vehicles, but it doesn't matter because then it's already a cop in the car, right? It's like it would make sense if they were mounted to cop cars, but then at that point, like it's a cop car
It's
already,
just a cop car.
right? But like you see a cop car, you're probably gonna slow down, right? If you're speeding. So it's like I don't know, it's just weird. It just seems stupid. To your point, it's fucking retarded.
Actually, dude, this is interesting. I went on Ford's website
Yeah,
and for
they not even
sedans,
offer a sedan.
the only sedan they have is a Mustang.
Oh wow.
Like
So they just
nothing.
quit. They quit the sedan. They were like, "Hey, we do this one thing really well. Let's just make the F-150." It's like I said, I don't know how long. It might be 15 years in a row. It's the number one selling truck. So they're just like, "Yeah, we're just going to do that, and then we'll make the Mustang."
Yeah, so whoever decided that should probably get in here and be like, yeah, we don't need to be a fucking narc. Because that would be what's considered a good decision. And whatever the fuck they're trying to do now is what I would consider to be a bad decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, SUVs and trucks, that's what Ford does.
Hmm.
Crab cakes and football.
Grab cakes and football. Yeah, because now they do the Lightning, the Maverick, the Bron. They brought the Bronco back,
Yep.
and they do electric cars, which is still just the Mustang. No, no, the Escape. All right, so but an electric Mustang is fucking retarded. I've
Yeah,
seen
it's not
those.
a
I've
it's
seen
not a
those on the
Mustang.
road.
Yeah,
I've
it's not
seen
a
those.
Mustang.
No,
Someone at the gym has one.
yeah,
I don't know why. I just don't know why they called it a Mustang. It's
yeah.
not a
You don't
Mustang.
need to. Yeah, you don't need to call it a Mustang.
No, I get it if you're Ford and be like, oh, the electric Mustang. People like the Mustang. People trust the Mustang.
Yeah,
It's the only fucking sedan we've ever done right.
yeah,
I mean, I get it from like a marketing standpoint, but I mean, I look at it and I go, that's not a Mustang.
yeah. I mean, even still though, so I'm not a car guy, right? But I know some people that are. Like I've just had some conversations with them, and throughout the time talking to them, the Mustang is like the joke of the muscle cars
Yeah.
because it's like 30 grand, like 35 grand you can get one. So like it's pretty well known that like, oh, you have a Ford, you don't have a real muscle car, right? Or I'm sorry, you have a Mustang. Like again, not a car guy, don't know this for sure. Just from the few people that I've talked to, this is how they talk about Mustangs, is that the Mustang is like that's like your entry level whatever,
Well,
right?
if you think so, if you know the meme with the three dragons and like the first two are fierce and the third one's like retarded.
Yeah,
So let's go with some American car brands. Chevy. What's their sport car?
the Corvette,
Okay. Um, for
Dodge.
years, Dodge had the
Well,
Charger.
yeah. Then they had the Viper. They brought back the Challenger.
I don't know if the Viper I don't know if you can necessarily use the Viper because if you use the Viper, then Ford wouldn't be the Mustang, right? It would be like their GT.
Yeah. Now they have the Hellcat. Dodge has the Hellcat that has like 1,000 horsepower. It's fucking
Um,
insane.
And like even if you dial Chevy back to a Camaro
Yeah.
and still roll with a Charger, I mean, dude, a Mustang? Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because even if you go back like into like the real muscle
Like
days,
the old school Mustang, like you get like a Boss Mustang, like I think it's a 69 Mustang or something like that. Like those ones, I guess, are a little bit more revered. But like if you're driving around in like a new Mustang, like a
joke,
2017 Mustang, I
joke.
think like real car guys are like, yeah, you're a wannabe,
Yeah,
basically.
that's it. That you're pretending to be like a car, like a car guy, but
Yeah.
you're not. You're driving a fucking Mustang.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not, I mean, hey, I don't have any sort of fancy car, right? I drive a fucking Tacoma. And I'm not a car guy, but I think the way these people look at it too, right? Like a Corvette is like a $75,000 car, right? Again, not to like poo poo, like, oh, you have a $35,000 car. Like, but I think the Corvette, the the Hellcat, the Challenger, like all of those are like 70 grand plus. And then you get someone, like you said, the third head of the dragon that's retarded, that's like a $35,000 Ford Mustang that
Yeah.
probably has like 400 horsepower, right?
And I was gonna
Like, I
say,
don't know.
I don't even know if they're doing it anymore, but like the Shelby Mustang GT,
Yeah,
that was a legit car,
that was a good, yeah,
but it had to have Shelby on it.
right, right. Yeah, like
Um,
I think Ford made a GT 500 a few years ago, and I think that was a pretty legit car. But like, if you just have a plain old, Mustang, let me
yeah, so
see.
2022, they did a Shelby GT 500.
Yeah, I think that thing was pretty badass.
Uh, 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 uh.
Yeah, so the 2025 Mustang has 500 horsepower. It's got a 5-liter V8 engine. Again, don't really know what that stuff means, but it starts at $32,000 for base model.
Yeah, I mean, if you even want to have the conversation with a Mustang, it starts with a Shelby, in my opinion, because the base model, the base model is a joke.
So, all right, all right, never mind. I was gonna say the Corvette, the ZR1, again, hey, did I say I'm not a car guy? I looked up the ZR1, which is not the standard model, but that has over 1,000 horsepower. I think the standard Corvette is the Stingray, Corvette Stingray. The starting price there is 68 grand at 500 horsepower. I think the Z06, maybe the Z06 is the standard. That's got 670 horsepower, starts at $112,000.
Oh, really?
Your starting price is 112 grand for a brand new 2024 Z06. The ZR1 doesn't have a price listed. You have to like knock twice and
Yeah,
say
if
the
you have to ask, you
password.
can't afford it.
Yeah. 1,064 horsepower. That's insane. 5.5-liter V8.
Yeah, no more Vipers. They stopped it like 7 years ago.
Oh. Because I think they swapped it out with the Hellcat. Let's try 2025 Dodge Hellcat, which is a Challenger. So the Challenger is the Hellcat is like the brand. So like a Z06, right? Like that's
Yeah.
um let's see. Nope, don't give me. the
You
electric
want to know?
version.
I already looked it up. The 2023s are anywhere from 88 to 136.
That's
So
insane.
you can get a 2022 for 70,000, and then the engines. So the engines are like the lowest engine. Oh wait, no, this is a regular Challenger. I need a Hellcat. Where did my thing go?
This
I
is
just
when
lost. I just I j-
two non-car guys are trying to talk car stuff.
Yeah, I just lost my page. I just wanted to get you an engine size. Apparently that was too much.
So I've got the 2023
I have it too. I refound it.
Hellcat jailbreak.
It's 717 horses.
Yeah. Gets 13 miles to the gallon.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So there you have it. Let me see what else we have here. I guess real quick before we wrap it up. I watched Joe Rogan's new stand-up special. So I watched the first like 20 minutes of it live. So Netflix is doing this new thing because of the Tom Brady roast, basically. Was such a huge success that like now they're trying to get into live events. So last night it was like it went live at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is it's just a lot, right? Like I'm at this point, again, the kid's gonna wake up the same fucking time every day at 6 a.m. So if I go to bed at 11:30 or if I go to bed at 10 o'clock, which is what I usually do, he's still gonna get up at 6 a.m. Right. So I watched the first 20 minutes of it and then I went to bed and I finished it this morning. Um, so it's his first special in 6 years. Honestly, it was fine, right? Like I didn't dislike it, but I wasn't like bursting into laughter the way I have with like some other specials.
Yeah, I
So
only saw one person commented on it about how he was just up there kind of just like yelling about nothing and like talking about shit from 3 years ago, like COVID
yeah,
vaccines and shit.
yeah. Yeah, so like in a way though, like that's his comedy. So I think there's a couple of things going on here because I have seen a lot of people on Twitter, talking shit, saying stuff too, outside of the people that were already like, "Oh, I can't believe Netflix would give Joe Rogan another fucking special or a platform." Like whatever. They can fuck off. Um but I think part of it is because it's been 6 years since he did a special. I think his last one came out in 2018, right? That makes sense. That math checks out.
That would be
Um,
6 years.
people forget his comedy style, and that's his comedy, right? Like Joe Rogan's comedy has never really been like, you know, punchline after punchline after this and killing here and doing that. Like he's been a little bit more of a social commentary, a little bit with a little bit of like Sam Kinison mixed in because he likes to yell and scream a lot. Um, you can definitely see the Kinison influence in him, but like obviously like the one of his most famous bits from I think the 2016 special that he put out was when he like climbed on the bar stool and like a gargoyle talking about like Kim Kardashian being like a devil or something. And it's like that's his comedy, right? Like again, like he's not gonna stand up there and just throw punch after punch. He's going to throw a little bit of social commentary, right? He's going to talk some shit. He's going to say some weird stuff, and he's going to yell a lot. Right. So I think that because it's been so long, there's so many people that just know him as Joe Rogan, the podcast guy. Right. Like, oh, the guy from the podcast. Right. Which, you know, it is what it is. Right. Like I've never been the biggest Rogan stand-up fan. I like his stand-up. I enjoyed it, right? I thought it was a good special. Like I would watch it again. And it was funny, right? But I wasn't like, holy shit, like my ribs hurt from laughing. Um, which I have had happen with some specials, right? Like, so yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like it wasn't like a knock your socks off special, but I don't think it sucked. I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, I would watch it again. But that's his comedy, right? That's what he does. He's not a Anthony Jeselnik, right? That's going to stand up there deadpan and say the most horrific things in the world, right? And he's not a Bert Kreischer either, where like Bert Kreischer's comedy is storytelling, right? That's the same as like Brendan Schaub. I think because so when I went to go see Rogan in 2015 or 16, we went out to Denver to stay with Derek's brother who lived out there. And we saw Rogan while we were there. And Brendan Schaub opened for him. And like that's Brendan Schaub's comedy, right? Is he just tells stories, right? That's the same thing as Bert Kreischer. But someone like Brian Callen, who is like one of my favorites that's current, like he is physical, right? Like he's doing weird movements on the stage. He's telling funny things. He's setting things up and coming back to them. Like he does a little bit more of that. It's just different styles, right? Like George Carlin was always a social commentary guy, like strictly social commentary, where he would say a lot of crazy things about, the current state of the world. Um, everyone kind of has their little niche, right? Like Mark Normand is a little bit more like line him up, punch him down, right? Line him up, punch him down. Like he's just kind of like line after line after line. Like Mark Normand's going to give you a little bit more of that. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I think a lot of people just forgot or just didn't know
We
altogether
didn't know.
because they've never seen any of his other specials, right? Like this, it was pretty spot on for a Rogan style comedy, right? It's just, you know, it was a little bit dated, right? Talking about COVID still in 2024. But again, he didn't get that shit out in 22 because he never had a special. So,
Well, plus Joe Rogan bad. So
well, yeah, Joe Rogan equals bad. But like some of that stuff was funny, right? Because he was making jokes about like spreading misinformation and like saying some crazy Alex Jones conspiracy stuff, right? Like he had a really funny bit about Alex Jones. I thought that was pretty good. Um, he had a pretty funny bit about aliens, right? Because he's all about aliens. Like there were really funny parts to it. It's just the thing in its entirety wasn't like knock your socks off. So I would say it's worth a watch. Right? Like I would say, we should probably watch it if you have an hour to kill. Um, but again, it's not like, like I said, your ribs aren't gonna hurt from laughing afterwards. I'm trying to think of some of like the best specials that I've seen lately.
recently,
Yeah.
Jim Jeffries.
Yeah. Well, I
He's
mean,
my guy.
Jim
I love
Jeffries
Jim
is
Jeffries.
hilarious.
Well, we watched the Andrew Schultz one at your bachelor party.
Yeah, Andrew Schultz. That was a really good one. Schultz is great. Schultz might be he's up there. It's Schultz and Brian Callen for like my favorite like current stand up. Obviously, my favorite of all time is George Carlin. Like he was the one that like got me into watching stand up. Um, I mean, obviously Bill Burr is great, right? But I don't think he's put out a special since 2020, maybe,
Did he do something?
or
Did he
2022.
do something recent? Maybe it wasn't him. I don't know. Doesn't matter because
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest stand-up guy. Like obviously, I used to think Anthony Jeselnik was hysterical.
I do still think Anthony Jeselnik is
Like I
hilarious.
don't see him do anything anymore. But I also don't look,
Yeah.
so don't
Right.
let's not mix that one up.
Right.
Yeah, I think Jim Jeffries is hysterical. The Andrew Schultz one was good, but other than that, it's like I really don't watch, and I
Yeah.
definitely don't watch enough to have a preferred style.
I forget which one it was, but there was one of Tom Segura's specials. Might have been Ball Hog. I don't know when that came out. 2021, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Um, but that one I remember like dying laughing to a Tom Segura special because he's pretty funny because he also doesn't give a shit. But like he had a bit about being Spanish because his mother is like Peruvian, like from Peru. So like one of the bits he was talking about was like talking like Spanish people were talking and he started laughing at something and they like turned and looked at him like this gringo, right? Like, what is this gringo doing? Like, does he understand? And he just rips off an entire thing in Spanish and they just stand there with their jaws dropped, like, oh shit, this guy speaks Spanish. But like that was pretty funny. But yeah, like I can't think of any other. Oh, Bill Burr live at the Red Rocks. That was his last one in 2022. That one was really good.
I feel like we probably watched that.
Yeah. But that
Oh,
might
I'll
have
watch.
been,
Oh, one I saw recently was oh God, Big Mouth. He's one of the
oh, Nick Kroll,
no, the other one. Um
Jason Mantzoukas. Oh, John Mulaney.
John Mulaney.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
His
yeah.
was fucking funny,
He's
but
pretty good because he was making fun of himself for like ripping
yes.
cocaine and like
Yeah, for
being
being
a
a like a massive drug addict.
yeah, yeah, yeah. John
Uh
Mulaney's was pretty good.
his that so I that one was awesome. Like and the best part too is like because this is where it's like he knows how to like poke fun at himself. So the whole thing is coherent and congruent, I guess.
Yeah.
But the funniest part is him reading an interview when he was fucking all fucked up. And it's like that's not even comedy. All the real work is before that. How do you go, I used to be a drug addict and whatever, and it like make it funny.
Right, right.
But then sometimes you do get a layup when you have a documented interview when you were all fucked up and you didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to like scroll through some lists, but like I don't see anything that I remember recently just kind of like dying laughing. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
Chappelle's stuff is good, but Chappelle has a different style too. He's more of a storyteller, right? But he's really good at putting the punchlines in the right spots when he tells the stories.
yeah.
So, yeah. Like I never saw Chris Rock's new special, I don't think, when it came out. But I mean, Shane Gillis was good, but he was another one. I wasn't like, oh my God, my sides hurt. Not
No, I
like
think
not like Jim Jeffries. No.
it's so good.
Let's involve Gary Jeffries.
Still to this day, like that's what does it for me because it's been like stand up that's fine. And Who did we go see for Derek's birthday one year?
Brian Callen.
Okay, we saw Brian. All right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember how it went.
Yeah.
No, it's also not fair to see someone live versus a special because the special is the polished product.
Right.
Um, but yeah, Jeselnik, Schultz, that Tom
So
Segura,
yeah, Tom Segura.
that Tom Segura one sounds familiar. But if we didn't live together, then I probably didn't watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries usually has me on my fucking ass the whole time. I gotta go back and watch the old one from when he was drinking. Because I remember that
Yeah.
one being pretty funny too. He just kept pulling beers out of nowhere.
But even like I think Jim Gaffigan is funny.
I used to really like Jim Gaffigan. I haven't seen anything
Like
lately, but
I haven't seen any of his new stuff, but obviously like the Hot Pocket one, right? Like,
right.
will this burn my mouth? This will fucking well, he doesn't say fuck, he doesn't swear. He goes, but this will destroy your mouth.
Yeah. Will it burn my mouth? It will destroy your mouth.
But all right. You want to wrap this up?
We can wrap this up.
All
So I
right.
think on the last episode, I told you I was doing Duolingo, or
Yeah.
I made an account for Duolingo.
Yeah.
We may have a problem on our hands. I am
Are
full
you a
blown.
fluent Italian speaker
No,
now?
I am full blown fucking addicted to this thing now. So I'm on a 6 day streak, I think. Oh fuck, I gotta log back in. Uh I'm on a 6 day streak. I've been doing it like nonstop. And it reminds me of the old days of playing Pokemon
Okay.
because now that I actually have some like reps under my belt. So you go whoever came up with this must have come from like the video game world because it's like it's basically like an adventure video game, but supposedly going to teach you language. So you can have up to five lives. So they're hearts, but like effectively
Yeah.
lives. So if you
Right.
get a question, so like you go in, you hit it, and it gives you like a series of questions. It might be like 20 questions or something. And if you get one wrong in there, you lose a heart.
Okay.
So if you get five questions wrong, you you're not dead, but like if you take in video game terms, like
Right.
you're on the bench for a while.
Yeah. Do they like just kick you out for a couple hours?
You could do that, or you can go up and play practice games to get more hearts. So, like when I was playing Pokemon, where I would be like, okay, I'm at the gym, but I don't know if I'm ready. So I'm gonna go like wander over here and beat
Right.
up some of these trainers and get some more money and get some more
Right.
rare candy. Like obtain all the things. So I'm like sitting here, I'm like, all right, well, it's kind of a waste to go through these like 20 questions like if I only got like one or two hearts. So it's like
Right.
I like to go into it with three. Because like if I get two wrong, it's like that's very possible. Um so now I'm like I'm sitting here and I'm balancing the hearts and the practice and the steps. I'm like trying to fucking get it right. And then there are these gems that you can do like other challenge. It's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And then
literally like a video game.
seriously, I'd love to know who came up with it. And then like when you log in the morning, it gives you like, oh, here are your like quests for the day, and that's how you earn the gems. And it's like, fuck yeah, I want to pass these. So, anywho, I've been playing this so much that they do something. There's this leaderboard here, right? So it says I'm in the bronze league, and it says top 20 advance to the next league, and that's going to happen the next 2 hours because it's over a week. Now, I don't know what lies ahead in the, I assume, Silver League. I don't know what lies ahead in the Gold League.
Yeah.
But in this leaderboard, I am currently first with 1,688 XP. The next closest person's 870. I will have that person doubled by the time
Yeah,
it
yeah,
goes up. And it's like, I'm not sitting here like, I want to double up. I'm just like, no, dude, like when I log in and I'm doing this, like I'm going.
right,
And this
right.
is what happens when you're fucking autistic or whatever I am. It's like I just want to beat the challenges. I want to get through it. So it's like I'm on like the fifth unit. There's like 27 units. I'm like, fuck, I'm probably gonna have to fucking pay for this thing at some point.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so in 1 week I got through 4 units. I won't get through the fifth one today. I was gonna
So, I
say.
mean, are you learning at least? Like, are you
Well,
actually,
yes. So
or are
I
you just
I
playing the games?
well, so this is the thing. I am learning, and I'm also remembering because I did take this fucking language before.
Right.
Bro, I don't I like if I put on like an Italian, I'll tell you right now, audio stuff.
Yeah.
Like audio is really tough because there's some sounds and some they like when they talk fast, like I can't pick it up quick.
Right.
But like reading and translating and filling in the blank, like all that stuff is like not that difficult, except for just like the verb conjugation and shit.
Yeah.
And then being like, because it's like I have, I must, I am, like all those things are kind of weird because it's like I must, you could translate to I have to,
Right.
but I have to is not like I have and then to, like it's a different word.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is obviously it's got to be the same in every language, but that's some of the stuff. The listening is gonna be tough. Like if I put on like an Italian podcast and like drove to work tomorrow, fairly certain I wouldn't pick up one goddamn thing from it. Or like an Italian movie, no subtitles, like
Yeah.
I would be having a tough time.
Right. Right.
And not for nothing, I've only learned what they've dictated to me. And it's like um a little bit about jobs, a little bit about like neighbors' houses, stuff like that. Uh very minimal stuff about like ordering food and shit. So
Yeah.
um I am for sure remembering, learning a bit, but like I said it to Michaela earlier, and I think my moral of my story last time was like, I don't know how long I'm gonna actually pull this off for. Well, clearly they fucking got me because it's like it's basically just like a puzzle game. It's like if
Yeah.
you took the ocarina of time and just said like, okay, how do we do this,
But for
but
language.
try to teach someone a language.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's easy, just do this. It's like, fuck, they got me. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're 6 weeks out or so from leaving ish.
Yeah.
6 weeks is not a long time to learn a language. If you're not
No.
there, like if you're just there
Right. Right.
and you're like, if you have a base and you're just dropped there and now you need to like fucking figure it out or starve basically, um, or like not be able to do anything, like you'll figure it out fast.
Yeah.
Um, but no, dude, like I I don't see how I'm gonna be able to really like pull it off outside of someone like really dumbing it down for me. Like I can have a I could probably come close to having a conversation if I dictate what we're talking about.
Right. Right. Yo
And
tango, el gato, and mis
well,
pantalones.
yeah. Or it's like if I just keep it to like present tense, everything is like I have to go or I must go or where
Yeah.
it like always like present like I could probably dictate a conversation, like a very bad one.
Yeah.
And the other person would also have to talk to me like I'm a drunk 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So I think I am learning, but let's keep it within the realm of possibilities. But I did get a kick. So moral of my story is I did get a kick out of the so in the 1 week I have fucking doubled the next highest person.
Yeah.
in the level or whatever.
What is it with Italian? Io fui? Like I
For what?
am?
I am what?
No, like that's what it is. Like, because like in Spanish it's yo soy, right? Like
Oh,
yo soy
it's
followed by
it's
whatever. But like
io
Italian
sono.
is yo fui?
No, io
No?
sono.
Oh, okay. What
So
is
this is the other
fui?
thing, huh?
What is fui?
I don't even think that's Italian. How do you
Oh,
spell it?
I don't know. FUI?
Yeah, that would be fooey.
Fui? Oh,
Uh, yeah, no, like if you were gonna say like I'm American, it's io sono Americano. But
yeah.
um, so this is the other thing is I remember in school, so like io is I,
Yeah, I remember the EO part.
so like io sono Americano would be I am American.
Right.
But I'm like 75% sure in school we used to drop the eo because if you say sono,
It's implied.
it's implied
Right.
I am American.
Yeah. Same
But
thing
then
in
when I'm
Spanish.
but then when
Like
I'm
you
doing this,
people
yeah, like you
don't
don't say
say,
yeah, or it's like there might be times where it like does fit, but like so if it says like I speak English, it's parlo inglese. But like sometimes you're putting in like the I or the you or
yeah,
the other things. I'm like, fuck.
yeah. Yeah, because like a lot of these languages, it's implied by the actual verb itself, right? So like in Spanish, it's yo soy to eres, right? So like you don't need to say soy, like yo soy, because soy
Yeah,
implies it's I, right?
yeah,
Like that's I am. But and like to eres is you are, but you don't need to say to because eris implies that it's two, right? And then I forget what the one is for usted, but usted is like formal, like when you don't know someone, but then it's like something different, right? So it's like depending on the verb itself, like that gives you the article, right? Like you don't need to
right.
include the article when you speak because the
Yeah.
verb tells you what it is.
Then like sometimes I'm like going through it and it's like I don't put it in and then they like it says like, oh, you needed that.
Yeah.
Fuck. When the fuck do I need it?
Yeah. Yo soy fiesta. How do you say
But
party?
uh Festa.
Io sono festa.
I am party.
So good luck. You got 6 weeks to get fluent.
I won't get that. That will not
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah. You're gonna come back talking Italian and drinking your little coffees and you know, big espresso guy now.
I don't know what I'm gonna drink over there because I
Is
won't
it
tolerate such things. Cappuccino's the big one.
is it is it a place? I'm sure every place is different, but how's the water over there? Is it like maybe don't drink the tap water type of country?
Probably
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
because like everything's in the bottle anyway.
Yeah. I feel like when you get away from the cities, it's probably fine because I feel like it's like well water, right? Or like local actual water.
Yeah, probably something like that. Think it's gonna be a lot of Aquapana and San Pellegrino.
Yeah. So, uh, my final thought. Oh, so I mean, this is a relatively quick one, but I just thought it was hilarious. So I wrote it down yesterday morning when I went to Market Basket. I'm leaving, and the world is filled with a lot of different people, right? A lot of retarded people. I think I forget who I heard this, who I heard say this one time, but I love the saying and I'm going to start using it all the time now, where I heard someone refer to another person as having a room temperature IQ. Which I think is fucking incredible. Um So there was a woman outside of the market basket with a room temperature IQ. And I don't know what was going on through this woman's skull, right? And again, there's a time and a place for everything. And again, I don't know this woman's story. Maybe she was on hold for a long time. But as she was leaving the market basket in South Attleboro, she was on the phone with, I'm assuming, an insurance company, screaming at them, being like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, all you guys are never around, like, when I need something. I'm about to cancel your fucking insurance because you guys, you always are hassling, whatever, this and that. So she's like yelling into her phone as she leaves Market Basket, and she walks out. I'm assuming most Market Baskets are kind of like displayed the same, right? You have the front door, the sidewalk, then you have I'll call it a driveway, right? It's where cars go two ways back and forth. And then you have the actual parking spots, right? In the parking lot. She was walking in the driveway, like the main road, if you will. I know it's not technically a road, right? But like she was walking in that road, pushing a carriage full of groceries, yelling to this insurance company on the phone that she was going to cancel her insurance with them while cars are trying to drive and they have to stop because this woman is walking in there when there's a perfectly good sidewalk right there that I happen to be walking on as I'm walking by her. And she's like yelling, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, kind of like, wow, that's a rough conversation. And she like stops and like whips her head around and looks at me, and I just fucking keep walking. Like, I am not getting involved with this today. Like, I am getting out of here and I'm bringing my groceries home. But like, again, what are we doing? Like, again, there's a time and a place, right? Probably not the time to call your insurance company to bitch at them is when you're leaving Market Basket, right? Or I was assuming in the checkout line, because she was mid full blown conversation by the time I caught up to her in the, while she was again walking on the road in the middle of the road, right? With 2-lane traffic. And then you're walking in the middle of said road while cars are trying to drive when there's a fucking sidewalk right there.
The only unfortunate thing is people like that never get hit. Like you
Yeah.
figure they should get hit and they never will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stupid.
So like people are like standing there, one person's beeping, she's yelling at the phone, she's yelling at the person, and I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't think I've ever pushed a carriage so fast. Like, I wasn't actually running, but I was like Olympic speed walking out of there with that carriage just to get to the truck and put the groceries away and get out of there. So yeah, that was just my quick little experience that it's people are just fucking stupid everywhere. Everywhere there's dum dums. So don't be a person with a room temperature IQ. It's moral of the story. That's gonna do it for us. So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to click subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below, leave us 5 stars in a review. If you're on Spotify and iTunes, geez, I am Ron Burgundy. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Check out the show notes below. Check out those sponsors, right, in the show notes below. Use the links for some promo codes, some cool products, support them, support us. And that's going to do it. So until next time, good night, everybody.